Most real estate investors don't lose money because they are bad at math. They lose money because they are vain. They get seduced by a story. A developer shows you a shiny brochure. A broker promises a guaranteed 7% yield. It sounds incredible. So you buy. You simply assume if a property pays rent, it's a good deal. But you are being blinded by the gross return, completely ignoring the silent leaks about to bleed your profits dry. To understand real estate, you have to understand the cash flow. And you have to understand the cash flow waterfall method. It's very simple. No rocket science here. So it starts at the top with gross rental income. That's the raw tenant cash. That's the cash, that's the income you receive from your tenant. Then we hit operating expenses and vacancy. This is where your money starts leaking. Once those leaks are paid, you get the net operating income. That's golden metric. But you're not done right now. So if you have taken the property on debt, you have to pay a mortgage. You have to pay principal and interest to the bank. And finally, at the very bottom is net cash flow. So this is the only thing which is very important in real estate. This is the cash which you take home after deducting everything we talked about in the waterfall method. So here's how the math actually works. We'll go step by step. So at the top is the gross rental income. It's just the rent you receive from your tenant per month. Expenses like water leakage, cooling, heating equipments, period when tenant leaves equal to zero income for you, right? Then you subtract that expenses from the gross income, and what you get is the net operating income. This is the income left after expenses. Simple, right? Then we go down. Debt service. So debt is a combination of two things, principal and the interest. It's the monthly payment to the bank for the loan repayment. And then you get NOI minus debt service equal to cash flow. So this is the only metric which is very important in real estate financial modeling. You need to understand this thing, that this is the only cash which is left in your hand after paying all the expenses. A very important matrix and always ignored by people. So this brings us to the most misunderstood word in real estate, cap rate. So cap rate is simply your NOI divided by the purchase price. It tells you the unleveraged all cash return which you get after investing in a property. So think of cap rate as the power of the car's engine. It evaluates the property's performance on its own, independent of a bank loan. But how does this translate to the actual ROI? Let's run a real world example. We have $1 million to invest. So we bought a property for $1 million, and the net operating income from the property is $600,000 a year. Now there are two scenarios. Scenario A, you buy it with 100% cash, right? No bank mortgage, and your annual return is 60K. So how do you get 60K? So you divide your 60K by $1 million and you get 6% return. This is a 6% cap rate. That's your engine power. Now let's go to scenario B, where you're a leverage buyer. So what do you mean by a leverage buyer? So assume you take a loan of 80%. So your LTV, which is loan to value, is 80%. And you cash invested so scenario B. So you put down only 20%, which is $200,000 of cash, and borrow the rest from the bank. So your mortgage is 40K, your cash flow is 20K. So you put in 200K to make 20K. So your actual ROI is 10%. So the engine is 6%, but your car is moving at a 10% because of leverage, right? So let's recap scenario B again. When you're a leverage buyer, so assume you have taken 80% loan to purchase the property, because bank never finance 100% of the property. So your cash investment down payment is 20K, which is 20%, and the bank mortgage is 80%, which is 80K. So we assume there is 40,000 per month mortgage payment. So your net cash flow is 60K, and you subtract 40K as your mortgage payment. So what is the net cash flow left? It's 20K. So the formula over here for your cash on cash ROI is you divide cash flow by your cash invested, and how much you get? You get 10% return. But here is why most beginners go broke. So what if interest rate spikes and your mortgage payment jumps to 70K? So the building is still performing at a 6% cap rate. The engine is fine, but the cash flow is now minus 10K. So your ROI is now minus 5%. So you're bleeding cash every single month. Running these numbers is a nightmare. Most investors skip the math entirely because building a complex financial model in Excel takes hours of frustration. But if you skip it, you're betting hundreds of thousands of dollars of your hard-earned money on a blind hunch. One missed maintenance fee, one bad interest rate, and you are trapped writing checks to the bank out of your own pocket every single month. So I built a free tool to fix this. It's called dealanalyzer.site. I used AI to build a mobile-friendly calculator that runs this entire cash flow waterfall. Cap rate, ROI, all under 60 seconds right on your phone. No spreadsheets, no signups, no cost. So don't get fooled by a fancy story. Go to dealanalyzer.site and run your next deal right now. The link is in the comments below. But remember, if you're vain, you'll be seduced. You'll fall for the stories. You have to be vigilant against the bullshit. Easy millions. If it was that easy, everyone would borrow money from the bank, buy a building, and be rich. It doesn't work that way. Don't outsource the thinking. At the end of the day, the decision is yours. You can either get fooled or you can use your brain and crunch the numbers before you write a check. In real estate, patience and skepticism get rewarded. Rashness gets punished. Knowledge is freedom. Ignorance is slavery.